This election headquarters brought to you by Petrosol and the New Force. This afternoon, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is reporting to the Jubilee House for the very first time after assuming his new role as the leader of the governing New Patriotic Party. We know that the second gentleman of the land was taken by surprise when presidential staffers and appointees at the office of the president, as you see on the screens there, decided to honor the vice president with a guard of honor and the presentation of a bouquet of flowers on his election as the flag bearer of the governing New Patriotic Party. We'll be telling you more shortly and also telling you more about what political watchers are describing as a historic feat for the governing New Patriotic Party. Looking at what the vice president did over the weekend, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia becomes now the first Muslim and Northerner to lead the governing New Patriotic Party since its inception. And there you have, of course, the vice president stepping out and being received by the presidential household in your shots there. It's simply because of the exercise that happened over the weekend, which many of them are elated about. But my colleague Samuel Mbura has been looking at the entire exercise over the weekend and now comes through with this report.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is son of Alhaji Mumuni Bawumia, a key figure alongside SD Dombo and other influential northern politicians who together contributed to the formation of the NPP, establishing the Dankwa-Buzia-Dombo tradition. While Dankwa and Buzia have previously led the NPP, Dr. Bawumia's ascent now represents the Dombos, symbolizing the northern presence in the party after becoming the first northerner to lead the NPP.
When the NDC goes to Volta region, they say to them, the NPP is an Akan party. Don't vote for them. Isn't that what they say? When they come to the north, they come here and they tell us, NPP is a Kambonga party. Don't vote for them. Isn't that what they say?
Bawumia, an accomplished economist, held various professional positions before entering into active partisan politics. But what prompted the choice of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as candidate Akufo-Addo's running mate?
I wanted somebody from the north to partner me for the elections and then for the governance. He's also a very clever man, and I needed his brains to help me govern the country effectively. And he's an honest person. He speaks honestly to you. He's not one of those people who have to guess what they're trying to say. He will say what he has to say very directly, and I like that.
Prominent NPP members, including Council of State member Ejiri Stanley Blankson and Ama Buzia, the sister of Ghana's first Prime Minister, K.A. Buzia, support the president's stance on Dr. Bawumia.
I have worked with him for a while, and I can tell you, if there is a gratitude, and I said, look, the people called me that I should put my neck there, I would tell them that if it is for Bawumia, I would do.
Not because he calls me mommy that flatters me, but all the qualities, because of my brother, I have a little bit of experience in politics. And all the qualities I look in a politician for. To me,
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia shares his vision for transforming the economy and calls for support from the NPP's rank and file.
I have my own vision and my own priorities. Given the opportunity by you, the people of Ghana, to lead, I shall govern as my own man with guidance from God Almighty. My vision is to build an inclusive, food self-sufficient, data-driven and systems-based nation that will fully participate in the global digital revolution to resolve our problems and also to usher in a golden age of benefits from our natural resources. I want to lead a nation that improves and unleashes the talents of our youth and offers good jobs with good pay and sustainable growth with macroeconomic discipline.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo acknowledges that the 2024 general elections will be a challenging one. He is therefore charging party supporters to campaign vigorously for victory.
Ghana cannot afford the return of the NDC, especially under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama. So let's all pull together. We have to go and campaign hard and easy. Election easy, my
The stage is now set for a fierce contest between the NPP's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NDC's John Dramani Mahama in the lead-up to the 2024 general election. It remains to be seen what will inform their ultimate choice in the worthy running mate for the crucial race ahead. Samuel Mbura, Joy News.
And there's absolutely no doubt that the citizenry are actually brandishing their cards waiting for the 2024 elections. Well, it was all joy today at the seat of government as presidential staffers and appointees at the office of the vice president decided to honor the vice president with the guard of honor and also the presentation of a bouquet of flowers, just celebrating the victory of the vice president. Well, the vice president has been addressing the gathering there, telling them to get back to work for Victory 2024. One man who's been monitoring all of that for us, Latif Idris, was there when it all happened. Latif, thanks for joining us. So just describe for us what we've seen in the video that we've seen in the last few minutes, with the vice president arriving at the Jubilee House and being received by presidential staffers. There you go on your screens right now. Tell us what's happening there.
So what you're seeing right now was the moment the vice president arrived at the Jubilee House. As it happens on daily basis for the schedule of the vice president, he gets up early in the morning and then gets to work. So today was no different. He moved straight to the Mensvik Hotel where he spoke at a workshop. It's a 3-day workshop that started today on coastal communities, and the vice president was there to speak. He made public his plans for the coastal communities if he gets to be elected as president in the 2024 elections. He said that the issues about coastal communities and climate change will feature prominently in his manifesto going forward. So from there, he moved straight and paid a visit to the former president, John Akufo-Addo. That was supposed to be a private visit. And then right from there, he moved straight to his office. Now, this was a surprise package. He had no idea what the staffers had planned for him. So when he got there, he spent about a minute or two in his vehicle, because I want to speculate that he was surprised and was getting a bit emotional. So he needed to process that. So he sat in his car for like 2 minutes. That is unusual of the vice president. Once the motorcade arrives, he gets off almost immediately and then gets away. But this time around, he spent about 2 minutes trying to process this whole special package the staff has.
And Latif, if you could just give us a sense of some of the individuals we're seeing in the shots there. Are they all staffers? Do we have some ministers also joining this?
They are all staffers. We have the executive secretary of the office of the vice president, Augustine Blay. We had his chief of staff. We had the director of the office of the vice president of finance. We had his security details. I mean, every single person in the office of the vice president was present. We didn't have any ministers or deputy ministers present. The team, his campaign team, the leadership of his campaign team were all present. And this was supposed to be a celebration for the recently held presidential primaries for the governing New Patriotic Party, where he emerged victorious. So it was about the campaign team and also the immediate staffers at his office.
Any reason for this surprise? Because ideally, one would say, you're to get to work. This is the seat of government. Why are they equally happy about the victory of the vice president?
Well, I mean, that is a question for the gods. Maybe you have to get them to answer this particular question. But they share in his joy. This is a momentous occasion for the Vice President. Imagine as the first person from Northern Ghana to be on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party is huge. So they are sharing in his joy, and you cannot fault them.
Okay, and I see the Vice President there. And just to point out, I see the Vice President there in your shots also exchanging pleasantries. Beyond that as well, any word from the Vice President resuming, duties today?
Yeah, so after shaking Izid, there are about over more than 100 staffers. He managed to shake every single hand. And just after that, he managed to say a few words. And what he said was that just celebrate today, and from tomorrow, make sure you get back to work, because the main task is to win the 2024 general elections. And that is what we should be working towards. And so today you are spared, you can celebrate, but he expects that going forward from tomorrow, every single one of them will get back to work. We can take a listen to the Vice President.
I want to thank all of you for the hard work and support that you have given me in this journey to become flag bearer and presidential candidate of the great New Patriotic Party. You've worked very hard. I know sometimes I've been a hard taskmaster, but I think it's all worth it. And I want to thank you. But this is only stage one. So after you celebrate this afternoon, you start work again. And then we move forward, because there's a lot of work ahead. But I cannot thank you enough. You've been the best staff I could have ever wished for. So I thank you. God bless you, and God bless the New Patriotic Party, and God bless Ghana. God bless you. Bye-bye.
So now the Vice President will be presented with a bouquet. He'll be presented with a bouquet of flowers here by the staff.
On behalf of all your staff and all your loved ones, we present to you this beautiful bouquet of flowers to celebrate your victory. Yes.
Well, excerpts of what transpired today at the seat of government, the Vice President there being celebrated by the presidential staffers, obviously, for turning out to be the leader now of the governing New Patriotic Party. But the party is heading into a very crucial general elections in 2024. And as the president admits, it will not be easy. So what's the strategy of the governing New Patriotic Party going into the next elections, knowing so well that there are some questions which remain yet to be answered? So let's get some answers, attempt them at least. Haruna Mohammed is Deputy National General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. He's joining us in studio now after a very long weekend, I must say. And of course, it takes a lot of hard work to show up in the studio at this time. But congratulations, of course, on having a very peaceful exercise, as it is being described by every political watcher looking at the NPP's presidential primaries. Did you expect it to turn out this way, looking at the level of rancor, as some would describe it, and also anxiety greeting the process leading to your presidential primaries? It rather turned out to be very peaceful.
Thank you very much, Bless. And first and foremost, I would like to say a good afternoon to your cherished viewers out there and the management of Joy. You have been very supportive and helping us to be able to project the happenings and what the election entail, asking the right questions to be able to make sure that the general public get to know what the processes are, and to make sure that the true fairness of the process encourages engagement and understanding, so that it will have cohesiveness in terms of how it is done. You asked a very big question, whether I was expecting that. Yes, sure, because considering what we put into the elections, I think that we were very expectant of what happened on Saturday, and the entire party is very much elated. And I take this opportunity to thank the national leadership of the party for the first time that such a national election is going to take place, for us to see the national chairman, the general secretary, all the vice chairmen, look at national organizer, the deputies, the youth organizer, women organizer, everybody stayed true to the fact that we need to unite the party, and nobody went ahead to go and support one candidate or the other. And this is something that this current leadership has shown is very unique in terms of how organization is being done. And if you look at the elections committee, that is supervised by Right Reverend, Right Honorable Professor Michael Quay.
Yes.
I think that he has distinguished himself. He has shown that he is a diplomat. He has shown that he has been a history professor for very good reasons, and he has been a law professor too for very good reasons. And I think that all the members of the elections committee need to be commended. I think that the National Council, at the appropriate time, will look into their work and see how they should be rewarded. I think they should be rewarded for this particular excellent job done.
And what was instructive was that some of the candidates themselves, they've conceded that this was a transparent process. The likes of Kennedy Ejapong, who's coming up as first runner-up in the election, he had concerns going into the elections. We've seen some other candidates, the likes of Alan Kojo-Trematin, who's now out of the NPP, say that the process wasn't fair. But that same concern was raised by Kennedy Ejapong. But on the night of the declaration, he indicated that the process was free and fair. Do you see that as a tacit endorsement of the kind of hard work or the kind of work the leading figures of the NPP, had put in place to ensure that this process will be transparent?
Bless, this tells you how processes in the New Patriotic Party works. If you look at the constitution of the party, clearly it demonstrates that everybody has the right within the remit of the party's constitution to complain and to petition, to lodge it at the appropriate headquarters of the party. After the 26th August elections, we heard a number of things. Many other party people reported, petitioned the party. Matters were referred to a constitutional body of the party in line with grievances procedures, and matters were being looked at, assurances were given them, platforms were being created for people, these aspirants, very respected members of our party, and every little engagement, every information that people, delegates, party members, media needs, we provide, just to ensure that transparency will be the order of the day. You can see from the way Kennedy mentioned it, had to recommend and say that the election truly was free and fair. Nobody can coerce Kennedy to say what he said. And I think that he said it from the bottom of his heart. And I think that I truly respect that man for that show of statesmanship, that show of patriotism on that particular day.
We'll see about the issues relating to party unity post the presidential primaries. Some are describing, of course, the handshake and, of course, that joint fellowship declaration that we've seen amongst all the four candidates as artificial. That's the description of some. We'll get into the details about that. But some, shortfalls about the democratic exercise that we've seen. The aspect about allegations on vote buying or influence peddling or whichever way you want to describe it, just to try and convince the delegates or influence them with cash, with money, to decide and to vote for whichever candidates they would want to vote for. We've seen all camps of your presidential aspirants confirm that indeed they gave at least 300 Ghana cedis to delegates to vote. Why is the NPP, a party that prides itself as having lawyers and a party that believes in rule of law, giving money to delegates to influence their votes?
I can't remember hearing any of the aspirants say that they've given money to the delegates to influence them. What I heard from them is that they are supporting them with transport. You saw that the National Party gave transportation to each of the delegates that came to vote. And the aspirant, what I heard them say was to support them. Perhaps what we have given them is not enough. We gave 50 cedis as transport.
Okay, so this is from the political party.
Yes.
The party
yes, as transport.
You gave 50 cedis
yes,
for transport.
as transport.
So 50 cedis is not enough?
Maybe that is they also want to support them with transport, and that's what they said. None of them said that they have given money to influence them. And I think that this particular election, the results that you are seeing tells you that nobody has influenced anybody in this particular election.
No, but if I pay you, you'd vote for me.
It's not
goes without saying, isn't it?
It's not a pay. They said they supported them.
If you give me 300 cedis, I give you 400.
Do you know that there's a saying that too much meat doesn't spoil the soup?
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
so the meat is for the vote?
So if too much meat is not for the vote. It's transport. They are giving them transport.
Yeah, but
and this happened. John Mahama gave.
And even in the end, he gave 50 Ghana cedis, isn't it?
No.
To pay the calculation, to do that all across the country.
Even in their conference, we saw money flying. Money was flying with so many wings.
I see. And you're doing so.
In a jura?
You didn't like it.
We never flown any money.
But you're giving 300 Ghana cedis.
I have not seen it. I only heard you saying, and I heard other people, but I have not seen anybody giving 300 cedis out. I only heard that they have given some money to support transportation.
Haruna, are you a delegate of the party?
A delegate, of course.
Oh, I see. So you should be smiling home with at least 1,000 or more, or 2,000 or more Ghana cedis because you accepted the transport.
Unfortunately, during the superdelegates conference, I never met any of the presidential candidates.
Oh, really?
I did not meet any of them before going for voting. I was on national assignment.
Okay, so you are an exception, but we've seen. So, but there are videos.
Even in this election, I did not meet any presidential candidates. I did not meet any presidential candidates.
Really? Okay, so here's what we'll do. Let's listen to some of the delegates complain. Even some of them complain about how they've not received the 300 cedis that was allocated to them. Let's take some of the accounts and we'll have Haruna respond to some of these concerns.
Oh yeah, delegate to be a hunter. Yeah, me wani wadenta. Honorable Ken Sikano. Nipa miensa akuche sikani nyina. Nipa 17 wa album no. Nipa miensa. One police station chairman, ya friend Kofi Eboa. Ono I provided emu 6,000 aba. Ye ko yire omko kuntopa no. For the 6,000 aba, ba ko the poor, omu mienu nyina o the same police station. Ono so the 7,000 asomo bia mane de aba. And one your former deputy coordinator, ono so na yire ebia kodi no ho, ono so de aba. Aka Rollins, yes ba ko the Rollins. Ono de oti lakeside, ono so this kind of journey. Ye hu until nipa 70 no, nipa 3 no, o ma chiskani nyina ayanyam 1 cedi up till now I go to 2 o'clock no. Na bu kan sika ne ensanka.
Na ese delegate bia nya se.
Ese delegate bia nya 300 Ghana cedis. And nipa nipa 4 Kofi Yeboah, Rollins, Paul, and lady back who come home. Almost 4 no, almost for scanning now. I nya 1 cedi till now.
Other candidates for the million be answer.
Other candidates so far Yansaka.
But we are the saying
so far but we are the 400 Ghana cedis.
Be answer can be answer can. If we are to be a saying be answer.
If we are to be answer can. So far but we are the one Yansaka. 400 Ghana cedis. 400 Ghana cedis. Your new Adenta electoral area. Ana omo kire mu say your coordinator no onye honorable Ken also support Bawumia enu nti sika no o ma nfa ahye ne nsem om da ko siri pafo so ena ono so ne ne cruise om ye 4 o ma chi sika no nyina
nti siri mbo to banana mo to ko ka ka na
o ye be kwa ko to tia honorable Ken because say o ma yiyim sa de ye hu no say ni pafo no ho na be to banana no nti o ma yi because the CI na ye ko wura mu yie no o mu provide bi ba ko de 8,000 kan ho no de adwane a ye hu na cha
ato di ni de
me de Yeboah Charles me police station chairman oh Bible.
So that's the account of Charles. He's, one of the branch leadership members of the NPP, confirming on tape. And for those of you who might not really understand what he's saying, he's just first of all confirming that indeed the aspirants are giving out cash. Kennedy Agyapong's cash did not reach all of the delegates simply because the coordinator had parted away with a large sum of amount. Then we also know that he's talking about the vice president who allegedly his campaign team has given out 400 Ghana cedis. And yet Kennedy Agyapong's cash did not get to them because the coordinator was unwilling to do so. This is from a delegate. It's not as though we're making up these stories. You're making them up.
Okay.
But it's reality.
But you see, there are always two sides to a report. One is the person saying it, and two, myself and you, because in the ethics of journalism,
you want to
when a system, when an allegation is being made, or somebody says something, our duty is to verify. As I sit here, we finished the elections on the 4th. We have not received any written report per the procedures of the party. And I can't verify exactly what he's saying now. I am hearing it. And this is something that I would also have to ask several other questions.
You're expecting party members to officially write to you before you know.
If they are very offensive. But the point is that I am saying that...
But money can't be offensive.
Personally, I can't verify what he's saying currently.
Yeah.
I can't verify that. Do you get the point? Yeah. I have to verify. And that's what I'm saying in your work as media. When they say it's raining outside, you don't amplify it. What you do is to open the window.
Okay, let me tell you about someone who was in the rain. Samia Uko. We know him as a face for the Bawumia campaign. He was on the probe last night, confirming that indeed cash was given to delegates, except to say that his justification is that these delegates are coming from all long distances and that they were trying to support in terms of transport. But that's the explanation and excuse you're also giving.
Yeah, and I think it's not different from what I'm saying.
Is it when the party gives out 50 Ghana cedis for transport? Why would you allow other aspirants to also give out cash?
We allow. Because we have not written to any aspirant to give out money. And if the aspirants so think that they want to support the delegate or the people or the party people, but probably they might have even given money to people who are not delegates to assist in some kind of operational work and assist in terms of how the conduct of election goes. And that's why I'm telling you, if you go to buy food and buy one meat and somebody come and give you 3 meat in addition, do you say that because I have been given money to buy one meat, I should stay to the one meat? No, if they have to support them with transport. But if any of them, if Samia Oko had said that they have given money to bribe, to change, or to influence their conscience in terms of the voting, then the party would have taken
already the feeling of some of your leading figures. We've heard from Dr. Mwakoban, for instance, who's out there indicating that the kind of vote buying that we've seen is something he's willing to take on. And he's even threatening legal action to annul the outcome of the elections. What do you have to say to party members who feel that the quality and the integrity of the process was marred because of this kind of monies that the aspirants were
I don't think that the elections, the process was marred.
There was no vote buying? No,
there was no vote buying at all. There was no vote buying. And I think that Professor Amakuba is free to, one of our building principles is the rule of law. And Professor Amakuba can go to court if he so thinks that there is something wrong. I think that it's always good for us to test the Constitution and to test the legal process in terms of how this thing is being done. We have heard a number of times how vote buying is eating into our political landscape. But however, we have not taken the opportunity to test it. And I will challenge him to test that legal process for us to see how.
And you're not concerned as, the leadership of the NPP that the kind of quality of leadership that you want, you might not find it as a result of, this kind of high stakes when it comes to money trooping in and creeping into your process of selecting a new leader.
I don't know which quality you're talking about.
Okay, let's look
out of the election. Somebody has been elected. Right. The giving out of the money as alleged for transport has not taken away any quality from the one that has been elected. Talk about competence. Dr. Bawumia, that has not taken away from him. He's incorruptible. That has not been taken away from him. He's intelligent. That has not been taken away from him. He is very innovative. That has not been taken from him. There is no single quality that is relative to the elected flag bearer of our party that it is taken away from. And I think that those qualities are intact. And the NPP has always been a beacon of democracy. And that is what we look out for. We set the pace. Look at 277 centers, 331 voting booths. We went into that election, we came out, and it is very peaceful. We all know who Kennedy is. And for him to admit, not in private, but publicly, it tells you that even in Africa, the NPP need to be consulted when it comes to the organization of peaceful elections.
You're a party in power, you're in government, you agree. What would you say to Ghanaians who say you're abusing incumbency? You're perhaps leveraging on state resources to give as much as 400 Ghana cedis to delegates simply to exercise their franchise.
I disagree with the point that money has been given to people to exercise their franchise. I disagree. The people who were stakeholders in the elections, you just mentioned one, that they said they were giving them transport, which I can give you any amount of money for transport. It is not defined. If you give me 200 Ghana cedis for transport, I ask myself, if I'm going to the north, what will I use it to? If I want to enter a flight, how much money will I need? So the amount of transport that I'm giving will define the comfort I will want to give to myself in terms of transportation.
I see.
So if they give them transportation and they clearly define what they have given them, and we still want to mistakenly consider it as vote buying, then I'm very much.
On what basis did the NPP, as a party, arrive at the amount 50 Ghana cedis as that ideal, equilibrium for funds that you disburse for each and every delegate for transport? What informed that decision?
Bless, in budgeting strength count.
I appreciate that.
Yes, so if strength actually counts, you also look at your strength and then look at what you can provide.
So your strength as a political party was 50 cedis
at that particular point in time, that was what we could provide.
What were you targeting as the ideal amount?
There's no ideal, it's what you have. If you go targeting something you don't have, that is why you get deficit. So you target what you can do, and that is exactly what we did. That was what we were having at hand. And we did explain to them. The people did understand why we did so. And that is why you have not heard any complaint from the delegates of the party with regards to what we have given at that particular point in time. And that tells you that if we were to abuse incumbency, then the party would have been given much more money than what we did. But we clearly did not abuse incumbency.
What do you say to the likes of Charles who've seen in this video saying that people have, absconded with the money?
I am very much constrained.
You don't want to comment on that?
No. But
it happens. You're an experienced politician. You know what he's talking about.
I'm very much constrained to talk about something that I have not taken the opportunity to clearly establish.
But you are the one encouraging it. You say it's fine. It's fine for the aspirants to support in terms of transport. Now, if someone takes your transport money away from you, they would have denied quite a large number of your delegates from voting, isn't it?
Because I can't verify that, because this is clearly an allegation.
You doubt your own party members?
Not doubting my own party member. He has made an allegation against somebody. The person is not there. Myself listening to it did not have the opportunity to verify. I did not also get the opportunity to interrogate him, to get clearly the fact. But I'm just listening to him on a national television. Right. That is his side. But if I were to be closer to him, I would have asked the right questions, as you are doing to me.
So just by way of being curious about this, what's the next line? Are you opening your doors as leadership of the party to receive complaints after this exercise? Is that something you're willing to
do?
Including these kind of complaints?
Our doors are open with regards to any complaint, not only at the headquarters of the party, but at the very constituencies where these activities are taking place. Anybody that feels that there is something that went on and he's not happy with that can't lodge a complaint. And we have complaint procedures in our party. If you go to read Article 4 of our party's constitution, discipline and grievances procedure, if it is happening at the constituency level or it's happening at the polling station level, you have to petition or report to the constituency executive disciplinary committee. If it has happened to a non-elected appointed member of the constituency executive committee, you write or petition to the constituency disciplinary committee. If it is about a constituency elected officer, you petition to the regional disciplinary committee. If it is about a regional elected officer, you petition to the national. If it is about appointed regional executive officer, you petition the regional disciplinary committee. And these are the disciplinary procedures in our party that we encourage everybody. If you are a young person, if you are a woman, if you are a man, if you are old, if you are whichever position, if you don't hold any position in the party, it is you, I, him, her, that we can come together to be able to build this party based on the structure that has been given
your
to.
grassroots will definitely come after you, asking you for you to allocate where the monies are right now. Since you say
which monies.
Since you say you have to verify what the cash is.
No. I said I could not get the opportunity to verify from the one talking.
Yeah, they'll come. Don't worry. They'll be in your office very soon, asking for where the money is. But let's talk about the next chapter, of course, because now you have a leader for the party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who you've all acclaimed, the president, the chairperson of the party, the secretary. You share that vision too, I believe. But the outcome of the election is what the opposition party is already questioning. That you have for the very first time a presidential candidate winning with such an abysmal margin as it's been described. What's your take, first of all, in terms of the margin of victory for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and what that signals, first of all, within the New Patriotic Party and to the people of Ghana?
Bless, thank you very much. Dr. Bawumia has always said one thing, and today I quote him. And we in the NPP continue to say this, and I clearly now get the understanding why we have those problems with the NDC. It's either they read, they don't understand, or they listen, they don't comprehend. That is where the problem is. You see, Dr. Bawumia is the first presidential candidate on his first attempt to get that percentage that we have gotten within the New Patriotic Party. In his first attempt, you all know that Dr. Bawumia has never attempted to become flag bearer of the party. This is his first attempt, and he gets 61.47%. Who, again, in his first attempt, got the nod was Professor Edu Boahen. In his first attempt in 1992, together with former President Akufo-Addo, he got 56.6% in his first attempt. Kufuor's first attempt, he got 51.9%. Akufo-Addo's first attempt, he got 47.97%. And these are factual. So if you are in NDC and you take away first attempt and wants to run with a clause that is incomplete, then you lack the understanding and comprehension.
Is that entirely
of what
the case? They have some point, isn't it? Because I've seen the data you're referring to running into the days of Dr. Edu Boahen. The point about Professor Boahen, as I should say, the point about the 61% range. Any candidate who's had that figure, whether on the first attempt, second attempt, has never crossed to win the national elections. And that's staring you in the face.
That is the history. That is the trend.
Yeah, but it's also
that
fact,
they have.
Isn't it? So why question?
And that is why we are saying that there has not been any party that has won the third term, right?
I
so
get that.
it is not something that is going to.
But there's not been any candidate in your political party winning with a margin of 51% who's gone on to win the national election.
And there is no party, political party, that has gone on into its second term and won the third term. And
that's a fact.
That is also a fact. Yes. And we seek to break that. And in seeking to break that, we are going to use this percentage gotten through this competent personality within our party to break both.
I see. You're just being ambitious, isn't it?
Not ambitious.
Knowing that this is a gentleman who has many questions to answer. How does Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia intend to, answer the question about the promises he made, having worked closely with President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo?
Which promises?
The belief about the baggages this government has, and the need for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to address the questions about the economy, the exchange rate, the questions about the jobs. All of these issues will face Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia in the face.
Okay, you mentioned three things. The economy.
Yes.
I think that it is clear. It is very clear that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has demonstrated knowledge when it comes to the economic management in this country. We all know before the ravaging of COVID-19 and other factors across the globe, we all saw what the economy was being run on. We saw what the economy from 2017 to 2020, what the economy was able to produce. Before we came into 2017, what was the state? What was the job situation in Ghana? And what was the rate of growth of the economy? It was 3.4%.
I see.
By 2020, what was the rate of inflation? What was the rate of growth? Close to 8%. Close to 8% before COVID.
I see.
That demonstrated that Dr. Bawumia was not just speaking or lecturing when we're in opposition, but he meant it. Do you get the point?
I see.
And when he demonstrated that and COVID came across the globe, you saw that even the United States of America was running in what? Negative.
And now
in terms of growth.
His own words will come back to bite him. He says that, and just quoting one of his former public lectures, that how can global phenomenon be the only reason, the only factor hitting Ghana so severely that it's not reflecting in
at that time, what was the global phenomenon?
But we have a same situation.
No, it's
now,
not same. It's not
look
same.
at the sub-region and just look at the countries surrounding us. They're doing relatively better.
At that time, tell me what was the biggest global phenomenon. There was no any it was internally inflected phenomenon.
Whatever the case,
it was internal inflected phenomenon.
In fact, the vice president himself is admitting that our economy is not as effective as it should be.
And that is the truth that the NPP will always tell you. The NPP has never hidden the truth from the people of Ghana.
Yeah.
We are always very truthful to the fact. We know that things are not easy now.
Right.
We are not putting Ghana on the heavens, but we are performed better than the NDC.
Really?
You talk about, yes. What was the rate of job placement when the NDC was in power? What was the rate of job placement? Teachers were being recruited within a range. For 3 good years, you would not even get any salary that is being paid. It took the NPP to come and take that one off, to make sure that a teacher that is being recruited is given the salary upfront.
If that
much as your IPPD and everything has been filled. In terms of global crisis, for close to 1 year, the teacher was sitting in the house. The NPP found the money, paid the teacher. We made sure that the number of teachers that was recruited because of the double track system, look at the huge numbers. Over 8,336 of teachers were being paid. Look at the huge number of teachers. Look at the security service. Look at local government. Go and check the record of job placement. Look at health, paramedics, medics, and all the recruitment that has taken place. Why was the recruitment not going on? Because somebody had gone to IMF and said that we lack policy credibility. Credibility is very key to every nation. But somebody went there and said that we lack policy credibility. Policy credibility was that if a graduate finishes school in your country, that graduate should not get a job.
If these are records that you are proud of, why are you not selling that to the people of Ghana? The president himself on Saturday, I was there listening to him, says that the 2024 elections, the campaigning will not be easy. His words will not be easy for the New Patriotic Party. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia comes and admits that there is a challenge. Then he says he'll be his own man.
Sure.
If the records are so good, why not,
latch
on to the records that your boss has said before? He can't campaign without the baggage of the Akufo-Addo administration.
I think that this pause program is not for only for people of Ghana.
I know that too well, but I'm asking you, I'm just supposing these statements. The man says we've delivered. If indeed they have delivered, and you have delivered, why is the president, the vice president, now promising us that he's going to be his own man?
If you note it very well, he's going to be his own man because he's a punchline. Go and read my first coup d'etat. If you read my first coup d'etat, John Mohammed tells you, is it page 64 or 34 of my first coup d'etat? He said in that book, as a young man riding bicycle down the lane, I could not take a decision on my own. That was what he said.
This is not
and when he went, I'm telling you that it's a punchline. He's telling you that he's a man on his own.
So we
lo and behold, when he became a president, he appointed 3 wise men.
This is not about John Mohammed.
But the point you can't speak for John. I'm saying that if
Dr. Mahmoud
Bawumia is talking,
cannot speak for John Mohammed.
But the point is that if he's talking, when you listen to him, you need to decode what he's saying. He's not just saying that he will be a man on his own, and it looks like he's saying something
he
else.
Says, and this is the second time he's saying this. The first time was when he picked up his nomination forms, returned to the party headquarters. He was very emphatic on that, he will provide a new vision, his words, and will be his own man. He's repeating that on, this very same day in front of the president when he's elected to be new leader of the NPP.
I think that is very good.
Yeah, so
that's a very good
how does this connect to John
Because
Mohammed?
somebody was there.
That this is the vice president who's worked closely with President Akufo-Addo.
Yes, but he's going to be his own man because he's going to be the president. He's not going to be a co-president. Remember, Dr. Bawumia currently, his role is to assist. You get the point.
You are telling me. I'm not in government. You're confirming that.
You know that the role of the vice president is to assist.
Yeah, but
if he becomes president, his role is to insist. So if you are not a man on your own, you can't insist. So he's very clear in his mind.
You heard the president state the reason for which he brought the vice president on board. He describes him as a very clever man.
And that is true.
Would you bring a vice that you do not believe in?
But the president has never said that he doesn't believe in him.
Yeah.
He never said so.
I agree.
Yeah, so...
Yes.
So
when he says he'll be his own man, now you get the connection.
He's going to be his own man because he will take his own decisions. He will take his decisions.
He will appoint some
wise men to come and take decisions.
Are you telling the people of Ghana now that when you go on the campaign, very soon, as we know you will be doing, you're going to tell the people of Ghana that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia cannot answer for the sins of the past government and cannot answer to some of the critical policy measures that was taken by the NPP administration?
Bless, we can't win 2024 elections without the record of Akufo-Addo. We can't. We are going to win these elections based on the record of Akufo-Addo, on the record of John Agyekum Kufuor. We are going to win this election based on their record. So we will never run away from any record of this government for which Dr. Bawumia is the vice president. We will never run away.
And when you say you have a solid team, do you still have that? He's pointed out a number of individuals, mentioned names as those serving on the economic management team. Yeah. He chairs that, I believe, committee himself. Do you feel that he's performed creditably in that?
I think he has been able to discharge his duty very creditably in the midst of global crisis, in the midst of sound economic features and indicators. He has been able to demonstrate that without crisis, this is how he's going to handle the economy. With crisis, this is how he's going to handle the economy. And I think that everybody is much aware that the economy is picking up. And very soon, we'll be presenting our next budget to the Parliament of Ghana for us to be given the approval to change the entire economic structure and to bring livelihood back to the people to make sure that the standard of living is better off.
We're just about wrapping up, and I wonder what your final words would be to the people of Ghana. But even as you wrap up, of course, we're looking forward to who the running mate of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia would be. You have any idea already of what might happen or how the party intends to do that?
Bless, some people finished since May, and they have not been able to do that. But we in the NPP, we are very much in a hurry. And you know that we have the parliamentary elections for the orphan constituencies to come on. Probably the General Secretary will be announcing the various tentative dates to make sure that we stay in line with the election. No election will exceed 3rd of December rather. So all these things are things that we have to look out for. We have elections in February, and we tentatively will have to look. We just finished the elections on Saturday. I think that the new flag bearer...
The calls within your party to use Kennedy Ejapon is growing. Would that happen?
I think calls are legitimate, but the party seizes the power in opportunity.
Someone who controls 39%, or 30% plus of...
Yes, I'm not
the
disputing
delegates.
that, but the constitution of the party will be at work. It is very clear in the constitution of the party how a flag bearer is chosen and how a running mate is chosen.
Will Kennedy Ejapon make a fine vice presidential candidate to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia?
I can't be very straightforward on this particular factor because I don't know the interest level of Kennedy Ohina-Agyapong. I can't tell whether he has it in mind, and I don't think that he'll be a bad person if he's given that particular opportunity, because one, if he qualifies within the structure of the Constitution of Ghana, if he qualifies within that structure, I don't think that he will also be denied that opportunity. But many other people too are there.
Really? You've picked up some of the individuals.
I'm qualified.
I'm
also qualified.
I see.
Because I'm about 40 years.
Vice presidential.
I'm about 40 years, so I can. So
but I think you're disqualified already, isn't it? You all come from the same side of the vice president. So
but it's possible.
You still? But
it's possible. It can because it's the Constitution did not say the president and the vice president should not come from one place.
I see. You're just swerving me. I'm finding a nice way of swerving me. But anyway, the name will come out. We'll all be here to see who that will be.
Sure.
Any final words?
Maybe it may be you.
So that's why we're having the conversation.
What I would have to say is that we have finished with competition. There is the need for us to come out for cooperation. Nobody should undermine the effort of all the other presidential candidates. Let's give them that needed respect. All supporters, if you are supporting Ken, if you are supporting Adainimo, Akoto or Bawumia, there is no contest again. The party has not opened nomination for any contest, and we call on everybody to leave any contest in mind, any support in mind, and support the New Patriotic Party. There was no loser, there was no winner. It was the NPP that won, and we had the new flag bearer in the person of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for the 2024 general elections. Bless, I want to promise you, we are going to win 2024 general elections.
Ghanaians will decide. That's the beauty of democracy. I'm grateful, Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, for joining us.